wonder if that's the Levier estate. Good grief. We have arrived at Journeyan. History tells us this is where those who put ashore with Archon Yenkrimp built their first homes. In the present day, it serves as the residential district for the most important officials and the Oli Charlayan families. You'll see that one mansion is clearly larger than its neighbors. That estate belongs to our friends from House Levier. All things considered, we should probably keep our distance for the time being. With that, we bring our little Charlian tour to a close. I hope it has proven to be an entertaining and enlightening experience. Now, shall we head back to the Baldessian Annex? You remember the way, don't you, Raha? Let me think. We head down towards the harbor, cross the bridge to our right, then follow the path below the Aetherite Plaza. Correct. After you, Moldy. Oh, you're still following me. Well, I'm going this way. Can't go inside? Nope. Always a tune. Who are you? It's so cool. Let's go down this way. Wonder why I would need an aetherite here. It appears we can enter that house eventually. Oh, I missed this. Right, we cross this bridge here. As I recall, stick to the path and be careful not to end up back in the Aetherite Plaza. Charlene is full of educational and research institutions. There's still professors who prefer to establish their own private practices. Not that I ever attended the exclusive schools they run in these residences. Perhaps the twins could tell you more about that. Oh, I love this song so much. Uh-oh. Too far. Can I go swimming? Nope. It was worth a try. Always. Oh, I could have just taken the... Oh, because no, they'll leave me. As the joyous look on Raha's faces has undoubtedly informed you, this is the Baldessian Annex. If you continue up the hill, you arrive on the doorstep of Phenomenon, but I think we've explored enough for one day. We can take you there another time. Inside with you, then! Inside? Where are we going? Good grief. Kidnapped. I'm back, and I've brought Moldy and Raha with me. Ah, you were right about the ship then. Hello, Graha. It's nice to see you again. And it's a pleasure to finally meet you, Moldy. I've heard many a tale of your exploits. Ojika! Sonichik... OT. It has been an age... Allow me to introduce OT, Administration Officer for the students of Baldessian. He oversees the day-to-day business of the Annex. You may recall meeting his cousin... E? Oh, yes, Eureka. I've read the initial reports. Quite a shock to hear what's become of the Isle. Do take care if you have the opportunity to rejoin the expedition. place is like a second home for the students. The Isle of Val served as our main headquarters, of course, but we often had occasion to visit Charlene. Whether to make use of the city's research facilities, attend conferences, or procure supplies from distant shores. And the annex here was built to provide lodgings for our members while we engaged in such activities. Ever since our former headquarters along with the isle itself vanished, the annex has served as our base of operations. And yet it feels so empty. With so many lost to us, our organization is a shell of its former self. The day will come when we will see the students rise again. But first, we must ensure that the Telephori fall. Through that door on the left, there is a main hall where we can discuss our options moving forward. Once everyone arrives, that is, you probably have time to rest before discussions begin in earnest. I've had private quarters prepared for you in the Andron, so please feel free to make yourself at home. Ah, the nap rooms, perfect for an afternoon doze. Get a cat nap? Oh, I didn't mean to give you the wrong impression. The chambers are quite well appointed. Far more so than some cheap roadside inn, you may be assured. 'Twas simply that we were often so busy with research, or exhausted from journeys abroad, that we would slip into the Andron just to steal a few winks. And thus they became known amongst the students as nap rooms, even if many such naps might last well into the following morning. Say the word, I'll be happy to show you to your chamber. Hopefully the others won't be too long in coming. I'll wait for you all in the main hall. Okay. Well, I want to see the room. Welcome back, Moldy. Ready for a nap? Retire. Oh, this is pretty. Nope. Yeah, that's pretty. Oh, and there's a ladder. I didn't get the ladder. Well, let's go in. This is cool. Feeling refreshed and alert? Our colleagues should be wandering in soon, so I suggest we stay here and wait for them to join us. Oh, this is definitely voice acted.
Pray forgive me. I was delayed.
It's fine, Urianger. We're all here now.
Let's get down to business then, shall we? Come what may, we must prevent the Telephoroi's plans from coming to fruition. At present, I see two paths for gathering the information which may aid us in achieving that goal. The first involves an investigation into the change which has come over Charlene, not to mention the recent inscrutable behavior of the Forum. As most of you know, the 99 members of the Forum are elected from the general populace. This alone guarantees a plethora of opinion with regards to foreign policy. The bibliotheques, for example, are a group of conservatives which would have Charlene focus on recording history, while remaining entirely uninvolved in the making of it. And at the other extreme, we have advocates for proactive diplomacy and direct intervention. My grandfather Galef was one such member, as was Archon Louisois. Yet despite our diverse factions and philosophies, The recent vote to deny Eorzea's request for assistance was unanimous. Even more concerning was the fact that many cited other, more pressing duties as justification for their recalcitrance.
Fortuno's refusal in Gridania had those same undertones. 'Twas as if, having stared unblinking into the face of impending doom, he had simply turned away to pursue something more important. But what could that possibly be?
A mystery indeed, and one which I ask for your help to solve. Our future may depend on it. As for our second potential path, it concerns a request made directly to the students of Baldessian. Our organization was founded primarily to study strange and unexplained phenomena the world over. Mysterious relics and ruins, arcane disturbances, and so forth. Compared to our more isolationist Charlian colleagues, we have strong connections overseas, namely with scholars and academics who share our passion for the unknown. The request in question comes from one such acquaintance, Nidana, an alchemist residing in distant Thavnair. Her missive describes the sudden appearance of a tower, and the subsequent summoning of what I can only assume is a lunar primal. In response to this threat, the satrap of Radzat Han, the individual who governs the city-state, has instructed the alchemists to find a means to deal with the spire.
The artisans of that land are heirs to an ancient tradition, one rather unlike that of their Uldan counterparts. 'Tis possible, nay, probable, that they have gleaned truths unattainable by Eorzea or her Far Eastern allies.
They do, in fact, appear to have a strategy in mind, though it will require further research. To that end, they have requested an introduction to a capable warrior shielded by the blessing of light.
Assuming we divide our forces to pursue both of Kral's lines of inquiry, then having you join the group heading to Thavnair would seem the obvious choice. But the investigation in Charlian is of vital importance as well. Equal, I think, to the Thavnairian one, given that the fate of the world may hinge on the results of both.
Yes, it is quite the quandary. Though it is a great imposition and an altogether too common one, our efforts would be more likely to succeed were you to lead the charge on both fronts. You are indeed our champion. As to which task to tackle first, we will defer to your decision. Let us next decide how everyone else might best be assigned. As for myself, I shall continue what I've begun in Charlian. I should also like to steal the services of an Archon or two.
And thereby gain access to a greater range of reading material. I will help with that.
Allow me to offer my assistance. I have some small amount of experience in the field of research.
Alice and I would also like to help, if you would have us.
Anything to understand even a fraction of what our father and the Forum might be thinking.
Of course, the more the merrier.
Right. The rest of us will make the journey to Thavnair. Thoughts? Objections?
I passed through Thavnair on my way to infiltrate the Empire, and though I'm not qualified to give a guided tour, I did gain a sense of where things lie.
Respectable.
I'll be happy to have you along then. So for this group, it will be you, me, and Urianger.
Give me a moment afterwards, and I'll supply you with all the details of Nadana's request. Consider this hall our rendezvous point once our respective tasks are complete. May our investigations prove fruitful.
So I can go to either one? Turn that back on. Ugh, gross. Well, I guess it goes without saying that they don't need the Blessing of Light in this group. But we have to do both anyway, but I'm gonna go take care of this primal. What do we get for this one? Well, I don't care about that. Thancred is either... hold on. They both happened at the same time. Okay, let's do this one. An unsettling change has come over Sharlayan, but together we will divine the underlying cause for the form's callousness. As I mentioned before, however, questioning the counselors directly is a fruitless endeavor. They seem to have already come to consensus as to what and how little they are willing to divulge. Which is why I began scouring Sharlayan's archive of historical records for any hint of a connection to the final days. Suffice to say that progress has been slow. There are only so many dusty pages one can skim in a day. Now that I have this band of willing reinforcements, the search should proceed all the swifter. Let us reconvene outside the Numenor, shall we? Exit the X to the right, find the archives at the western edge of the woods. Yeah. We'll be back, Thancred. Oh. Well. Time to get working on those, too, then. In that case, once the sprint runs out. Moving on up in the world. Alright. Alright, should be the last one I needed to attune to. Yep. What else did I get? Nothing. Okay. Alright then. I guess that makes sense. Okay. Well, let's do all this stuff first. Alright, Crow, what do you got? My directions were easy enough to follow, I hope. In any case, you stand now before the doors of Numenor, Sharlayan's grandest collection of books and tomes. This building is actually only an entrance, and one of many at that. The archives of Numenor extend deep beneath the surface like the roots of a tree. The vast halls of the great Kubal Library pale in comparison to Numen's endless maze of subterranean chambers. Any citizen of Sharlayan is free to enter peruse its shelves. Well, most of its shelves. Only Archons are afforded access to certain restricted vaults. I've dispatched Istola and Raha to investigate those. Meanwhile, Alize and Alphanode will help me continue my search through those stacks open to the general public. Your status presents more of a problem. As a non-citizen, you are only permitted to browse the first floor here at the entrance. Even so, there should be a number of books which touch upon Sharlayan history or foreign policy. Your task will be to find and study the relevant publications. I promise you, a working knowledge of these subjects will make it far easier to spot the sort of clues we're looking for. Let us be about it, shall we? I've told the others to meet us at the stone benches over there once we've found some promising tomes. Happy reading! Well, sounds like a job. Or a bookworm. And by bookworm, I mean a scholar. Get that book ready. Haven't seen if this got any new things. Royal roll leather pack chain. What was that? Wait. Must have been that. Okay. Well, let's study the books, shall we? The title and spine reads the story of Charlene. Read the book. Long, long ago, on an island in the northern sea, there lived a Rodigan man by the name of Njunkrimp was a student of astrology, and he divined that a flood of terrifying proportions would soon sweep over the lands of Eorzea. So it was that he built a gigantic ship, assembled crew, and set sail for that imperial realm. The flood arrived as foretold. To their horror, the strangely churning waters drove the people towards the ocean. It was there, however, that Njunkrimp's crew hauled them aboard his ark, but the danger had not passed. A towering wave approached, threatening to smash the vessel to pieces. With only moments to spare, Njunkrimp wove a mighty spell of teleportation and shifted the entire ship to safety atop Abalthea's spine. That's an Alamigo! Refugees from the surrounding regions huddled there alongside them, but it was not long before the disputes over the dwindling supply of food led to violence and bloodshed. Saddened by the sight, Njunkrimp gathered to him his crew and his grateful passengers and abandoned the ark to those reddened peaks. They journeyed to the coast where they built a new ship, intent upon returning to the northern seas. They landed on the beach of an island and settled upon that very spot. The settlement prospered and grew, and in time it became the city of Charlene, we live in to this day. Not that. Wait. Relevant subjects. There's so many books, though. I want to read them all. Roads of Old, The Colony. I want to read them all. Many years ago, on the banks of the Thalic, in the Dravanian hinterlands, the Charlene colony once thrived. The settlement was originally established as a mere outpost to study the ethereal sea in the year 1311 of the 6th Astral Era. Scholars dispatched to Eorzea found the facilities wanting, and the demands encouraged a gradual expansion in structures and services. As rumors spread of a growing community of academics, the area was further inundated with Eorzean students hoping to share in the renowned wisdom of the Charlians. 50 years later, the Forum passed a motion to recognize what had become a flourishing town as an official Charlian colony. Eorzean residents took the colony itself, Charlene, which led to no small amount of confusion when discussions turned to the subject of the motherland. In response, the Charlene inhabitants, if pressed for a name, would simply refer to it as Emporium. Following the Great Exodus, however, goblins and treasure hunters claimed for themselves a corner of the abandoned colony and gave it yet another name, Idleshire. The following chapters go on to introduce the most prominent features of Idleshire. This book does not appear to contain additional information on the Forum or cover the history of the Charlene motherland in greater detail. Okay, that's fine. Who is stomping around? Oh, it's you. The voice of the growing city. In the years which followed the founding of Charlene, civic policy and other matters of import were decided at the Ecclesia, a public forum at which every citizen was eligible to speak. As the city's population grew, however, this format became increasingly impractical. The larger number of participants gave rise to ever longer debates, resulting in significant delays of vital resolutions. Various measures were introduced in attempts to curtail protracted discussions, but in the year 201 of the 6th Astral Era, it was ultimately decreed that Charlene would transition to a new form of governance. The nation would now be led by a body of 99 members, citizens chosen from amongst their peers by means of a nationwide vote. Thus was the Forum as we know it today conceived and created. Okay. How did... That's a bit broken, Square. He just ran out of it. There's something in there. Probably not supposed to be, unless that's the light reflecting. What is it? An introduction to the heavens. Have you ever gazed at the skies above and contemplated the mysteries contained therein? I speak not of shifting cloud patterns, but of the vastness beyond, of the sun and the twinkling tapestry of the night. Some think the dome above us to be in finite space, yet amongst the leading thinkers of our age, one scholar's depiction of a boundless sea of stars has firmly taken root. Alas, this heavenly sea remains an unreachable, unknowable destination. There are a few, indeed, who can explain in satisfactory detail why our own star is believed to revolve around the sun. It was the technologists of Alok who came closest to understanding the laws which govern the starry abyss. It was they who launched Talambud and sought to expand our own earthbound experience. Having read of our ancient ambitions, I wonder, has your interest in this field of study waxed or waned? What if I were to tell you the eternal constellations were arranged differently in the distant past, that their positions continued to shift almost imperceptibly, but measurably as we journey into the future? Would it shock you to learn that the stars drift further and further apart, and may indeed do so forever? Are you eager to learn more? Wrong subject. Forever 20 simmers. My beloved seekers of knowledge, have you ever put learning before your health and neglected to feed and rest your body as you should? I too once engaged in civilist practices, but one night, engrossed in philosophical study, I had an epiphany. For all the world's mysteries that drive us to reckless abandon, we have so very few years of life in which to achieve our goals. Thus do I share with you this mantra: I am forever 20 summers young. The number itself is unimportant. You could be 19 or 23 or 40. Whatever age you are when you discover this manual, let it be the age to inspire to remain. Through mindful, healthy living will you extend the time available to spend upon your chosen research, another day, another moon, another summer, to grasp the greater truths you pursue. In the pages that follow, we will explore the secrets of maintaining one's physical condition from a biological, ethereological, and arcane viewpoint. Wrong subject. Alright. Stewards of Wisdom. During the chaos of the Sixth Umbral Calamity, Archon Yunkrim, founder of the Sharlayan, bore witness to the madness and savagery of men brought to the brink of despair. Upon raising a settlement on an island in the northern empty, he instructed his people thus. Pretty sure he didn't tell me to yawn. Renounce the ways of war and pursue enlightenment through knowledge and reason. The Sharlayans took to heart the words of their savior, and thenceforth served as stewards of wisdom. Upon a foundation of acclimated learning, they built a homeland unlike any other, a nation born from strength of minds rather than strength of arms. With knowledge of economics came shrewd trading. With knowledge of agricultural came bountiful crops. Engineering brought wells, sewers, ending squabbles over water. Wealth of expertise could be bartered for wealth and coin, and the more their wisdom spread throughout the world, the more mankind as a whole would thrive. And so it was that no matter the trials and tribulations of the age, citizens of Sharlayan would live by their founders' teachings, for the sake of the better tomorrow, for the sake of a brighter star. They would eschew the tools of war, and with knowledge, deliver the world. Well, I have gained some knowledge. It's time to go brain.